Hello, everybody. Welcome to Simon Wishes So. As Sam Myers takes a hit of tea off his... Have we talked about that mug before? I think we might have mentioned it on the previous episode.
The wolf is my spirit animal.
Yeah, he's got the three wolf moon. I think was the famous meme T-shirt where it was kind of like anyone wearing that T-shirt got like magical sexual powers, and you know I'm
feeling it.
Yeah,
I'm feeling it. I have to say we always sit here and we drink like 3 whole pots of tea,
dude, and we do this in the evening.
In the evening, and I number one can't sleep. Number two, I'm like ready to punch an elephant. I'm just so like crazed. It's like doing adult substances.
I was a couple of months ago, more than a couple of months ago. I sometimes go to there's a great cigar lounge here in Prague 1, and I went and I was like, yeah, I like smoking cigars, but there's the Cuban lady there. She was, taking us in the humidor and stuff, and then we decided we'll try a new cigar. And they had this big cigar. It was like wrapped in a tobacco leaf, and it was like, oh, this looks pretty cool.
That's
so
pretty cool. Yeah.
There were only 2 of us, and we got 2 of these. Dude. And cigars are different. Like you can have lighter cigars, darker cigars, less caffeine, less nicotine, more nicotine. I don't smoke other than cigars, so I have no tolerance of nicotine.
Was this a punch you in the face with nicotine cigar?
Oh my god, I was uncomfortably buzzed on nicotine. I went home and I didn't sleep until 4:00 in the morning.
Really?
I watched In Bruges. I watched 3 episodes of Star, and I got home at 10.
And In Bruges is quite a sleepy movie as well. It's like there's a lot of
it's pretty
sleeping
chill.
Yeah.
I did not sleep. It did not put me to sleep. Nothing did. It was intense. Let's start off. Let's give the people what they want. I want to talk about Catcher in the Rye. Written, essentially. Have you read Catcher in the Rye?
No.
It's
I'm not a big reader.
Don't worry, me neither. I feel like I used to feel. I think it was more just pressure. I felt like I should read classics.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I think everyone goes through that phase. I've read a good bunch of the classics, the Count of Monte Cristo and those sorts of ones.
Oh no, I'm reading that now actually.
Oh,
it's sitting on my living room.
Doesn't count as reading if the book's not opening.
I'm 40 pages in, and it's absolutely massive. And I don't know. I'm struggling to get into it.
I had Les Miserables, and I tried to read it. I read 900 pages of Les Miserables, which is almost a 2,000-page book, and I just gave up. I think the secret would be to read it in 4 sittings.
Oof.
But who can? No one's got time for that. And I had the same with what's his name, Hunchback of Notre Dame. That was the same.
I have to say, I don't think I've read any of these old classics. I mean, more modern classics like
Gatsby.
Yeah, Great Gatsby. I enjoyed The Great Gatsby actually. But modern classics, I can't even fit Mice and Men.
It's a good book actually.
Yeah, Orwell's stuff. These books I enjoyed. I genuinely enjoyed. Catcher in the Rye is an enjoyable book. I can't get into anything pre-20th century. It's just
too much.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's kind of boring, and people will hate on it for this, but who cares?
Hate us.
Whatever.
Keep going.
These modern classics are great, but I just don't read them anymore. I end up just reading thrillers because I read for fun. I don't read because I want to improve myself, which is terrible.
I actually had a discussion today about this. That apart from self-improvement books, things like
but then I'll do the audio version. Don't you?
I hate audiobooks.
What's wrong with you?
I read them in my own head.
We got to have Audible sponsor this someday. You got to be I love audiobooks. People are going to be like, Sam doesn't know, does he? I'm totally kidding.
I think the thing is, I can understand audiobooks are way more in the same way that podcasts are really good for when you can't sit down and watch something, or when you can't sit down.
No one sits down.
No one has time to sit and read a book or something.
Read a book.
I mean, some people do. Not many anymore. And so
sorry, not read. I mean, listen.
Yeah.
Of course, you sit down in a chair and read a book.
Exactly. You can be on the road walking. You can be listening to a book. But no, I had this discussion. For instance, for me, the Dan Brown books, they catch
love
me.
those. Yeah, I mean,
they're good.
Stupid but fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
great.
love it.
Love that. Give me something about Templars, and I'm happy.
Yeah, I love that. I like those ones. I really like Digital Fortress.
I didn't read Digital Fortress. I've not read that one because I didn't like how it's outside of the world of the Robert Langdon.
It's good. I mean,
but the
it's
the Lost Symbol was fantastic,
Yeah.
which was the one of the series that didn't get made. I thought it was the best one.
Oh, into a movie?
Yeah, because Inferno got made, and that was bloody awful.
I think I've only seen the first movie.
Yeah, Angels and Demons was great.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Da Vinci Code was good.
Wait, which is the one where he jumps out of a plane into a river? I think that's
Angels and Demons. Angels
I
and
like
Demons.
That. Wait, that's not the first one.
The
then.
Vatican.
Oh no, I have seen both then.
First book, but the one with the Pope.
Ah, okay.
And then the third one, Inferno, was bloody awful.
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, it's not worth watching. Like they basically didn't have time to show the story, and so they made cuts which just were no good. Yep.
Okay.
Anyway, right. Catcher in the Rye.
Catcher in the Rye. Okay, so this is kind of brief. Do you want to open up that link there? It's a New York Post, I think. So essentially, Catcher in the Rye was written because Charlie Chaplin stole J.D. Salinger's girlfriend. There's this... I'll just talk it through. I've got my notes out in front of me. I'm going to look at them because I don't want to screw it up. So there's this girl called Una O'Neill. I'm not sure if I'm even pronouncing that right, but I looked her up on Wikipedia. You know someone's parents, and like you go on someone's Wikipedia page and you know they haven't come from nothing when it says like Una O'Neill, daughter of so-and-so. And then both people have their own Wikipedia page. Like we talked about Jack Black and it's like, oh, his mum has her own Wikipedia page. Notable. Anyway, so she's 16 because, you know, it's back in the day. And she meets 22-year-old J.D. Salinger. They date. And I was wondering, is that illegal? Because I know the Americans are super intense about this. I think if you're 17 and if you're 18 and your girlfriend or boyfriend is 17, I think there's like some statutory rape thing going on in the States.
Well, I suppose it depends if you're sleeping with them.
Well, yeah, obviously.
But I don't think back then people did sleep with people before getting married, really.
Pre-marriage? I bet they did.
No, I don't. I really don't think they did.
Anyway.
I think even now in America it doesn't happen as
yes,
often as you'd think.
It does.
Maybe I'm naive.
Like, maybe in the Bible Belt.
In the Bible Belt.
Yeah, but that's like that. Not everyone's crazy religious.
Bible Belt.
I don't know. She was from somewhere else, and then she moved to Los Angeles.
Headed for Hollywood. Okay, so I don't know. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Anyway, and also I wonder about the law there. Anyway, because modern day, like 18 and 17, it's weird. I don't know.
Well, it's a weird point because generally girls do want to date older boys, and so
yeah,
I mean, 16 and 18, that is a bit weird. In the UK, that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's legal.
It's not quite legal.
It's just legal.
It's not prosecuted.
Yeah, it's legal because exactly. No, that's true because I don't know. Have you ever heard of it? Like in the UK, it's like legal sex age is 16.
This is 16, sure.
And homosexual sex age is 18.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Surely that was stamped because the last major act of Parliament was 2003. Surely that's been changed. Or at least the common law.
Like I know that growing up was what it was. So.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. And it did change a lot in 2003 because there used to be a whole different in the UK system of deciding what age could have sex with what age. It's weird. And yeah. Anyway, J.D. Salinger, he goes off to war, World War II, and his girlfriend, Una, she goes off to Hollywood to become a celebrity. And I thought, and she did, by the way. I was like, that's bold. Like, I'm off to Hollywood to become a celebrity. And she did.
Good luck, love.
Yeah, I feel like, who doesn't go off to Hollywood? Who moves to Los Angeles? It's like, yeah, I'm moving there for banking. I don't know.
I don't love it. I don't love LA.
I don't mind LA.
I think there's a side to LA I've not seen. And I would love to see that side of LA.
What's the side of LA you haven't seen?
I've seen the side that I don't like very much. I would love to see, because people go there. And they must go there for a reason, not just for fame. Like people live there, have their families there, and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I don't. For me, unless like you're on the beach, like kind of right there.
Venice, man.
Venice Beach.
There's a great TV show on Netflix that only ran for 2 seasons called Flaked, which is with the guy from Arrested Development who played Job. Will Arnett.
Okay.
Great show. And it's like set in Venice, which is like, I knew nothing about Venice, but it seems like this really nice part of Los Angeles where everyone seems to be a bit of a hipster. And there's a podcast I listen to, and one of the guys lives in Venice, and he says it just seems to be enormously expensive, but it seems pretty cool.
Lots of avocados, loads of chia.
Exactly.
That sort of thing.
Yeah. And apparently there's lots of like homeless people because they're like, oh, where should we move to? Well, we may as well move to the nice part, live by the beach.
Why not? Exactly. Sleep on the beach.
Anyway, so she goes off to Hollywood and she meets Charlie Chaplin, who at the time, you thought, oh, it's a bit weird that J.D. Salinger's 22 and she's 16. Charlie Chaplin is 53.
That is a bit weird.
But he's a great guy. He waits until that she's 18 before they get married. Just in case you can't tell, listeners, that was sarcasm. So also, Salinger, this isn't 2020. He has no idea. She hasn't written to him. She hasn't told him. He can't check her Facebook.
He was at war.
He's fighting in the war. Exactly. You know how he finds out? Charlie Chaplin's famous. He reads about it in the paper.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty devastating.
That's bad.
He's pretty pissed.
That's not cool, Oana.
So he sends her a sick burn. He says, here it is. How does it feel being with a man who is being treated with monkey glands? Can you, without looking at my notes, take a guess at what that means?
Not being treated with monkey glands.
He was being treated with... He says to her, as like a joke about elderly Charlie Chaplin, 53, making, he's being treated with monkey glands. What do you think she's getting at?
I'm going to guess it's something to do with excretion of glands. Is there a... No idea.
No, excretion of semen. It was
semen. I wanted to go there, and then I was
like
is
the
it
1920s Viagra. I don't know if it actually worked, but I thought that was a pretty good burn. J.D. Salinger.
Are we saying glands or glands?
Glands, like the things you have in your body.
Like a gland, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So they'd apparently extract some monkey glands and give them to people. I don't know if they actually did this, but this was the joke that J.D. Salinger made about Charlie Chaplin.
Oh God.
He gets back from the war.
It's a good burn.
Yeah, it's a pretty good burn, I thought. He gets back from the war. He's pretty mentally screwed up. He went to war.
Of course.
And he was on D-Day. It's not a great time.
And that was bad for the Americans.
D-Day was bad for everyone.
Bad for everyone. Yeah.
Fortunately, it turned out the right way, but lots of people died. So he's pretty messed up, and he writes Catcher in the Rye. Like, in this state, he's kind of like, oh, this kind of sucks. I'm pretty screwed up. He writes Catcher in the Rye. And then he lives his whole life, and he dies in New Hampshire in 2010.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
God, he lived.
Yeah.
That was a long time.
Add him to my list of people I'm surprised still alive. Chuck Yeager. Henry Kissinger. Still alive. One day they'll be dead.
Who is it? John Adams.
No, he's definitely
dead.
No,
John Adams.
Isn't he one of the founding fathers?
Yes, he is. John Adams, I think if I'm correct, I think it's his great-great-grandson is alive now.
Dude, I think it's even better than that. I think it's like the grandson or something.
It could be.
Because it was he was super old,
80,
his wife was super
80
young.
Or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes on. And someone's...
They're
like granddaughter of the founding father. Something
is
crazy.
Still alive.
I can't believe that's possible, though, because that was like 1700s.
Yeah, well, if there's... No, this is why I think it's the great-grandson. Let's check this, and we'll have to look it up. Yeah, make a note, because I get the hunch. I've just got a hunch that it's the great-grandson, which is very, very impressive. Crazy. Like, it's when it kind of puts that time scale. I love that when you...
I have a kid, and it's like, their great-grandparents, one of them's still alive.
Yeah.
Still alive. These are a founding father. What the hell? Okay. So, because Charlie Chaplin's kind of a dick, by the way.
Yeah, he was a very difficult man, wasn't he? I'm not sure exactly what he did, but
I'll tell you.
Okay.
Go to that Vice article.
I know he wasn't not very nice, but he was very difficult, wasn't he?
I posted this on Twitter. Just the title is so Vice. Charlie Chaplin was a sadistic tyrant who little girls, teenage girls.
God.
Yeah, no, he was kind of bad. This is the most Vice thing I've ever seen. Vice used to be really cool, and I'm not sure what happens, but it kind of just became so memeable. Yeah. He was basically... let me just pull a quote from this. I actually pulled it out because I don't want to go through the whole article. People were obsessed with Charlie Chaplin, and basically, it unsurprisingly went to his head a little bit. Here's a great quote. In 1920, from this article from Vice, in 1920, the same year he and Harris went through a bitter divorce, Chaplin met the 12-year-old who would become his next wife. Hang on, it's not as bad as you initially think, because of course this is Vice. Lolita McMurray, who later went by the professional name Lita Gray. Although Chaplin admired Gray, even commissioning a portrait of her, he held off pursuing her until she was a more appropriate 16 years old and playing a small role in his 1924 film The Gold Rush. So essentially, he liked this 12-year-old girl. He waited a little while, and then he employed her and preyed upon her. It's kind of what, it's kind of nasty.
Yeah, not great. Not great, Charlie.
Also, had a reputation for being super cruel. Here's a callback to, I think it was either in our unaired pilot, so I'm not sure if we've done an episode about it, or maybe we redid it. We talked about Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now.
Yes, we did.
And we talked about
Brando.
Yeah, Marlon Brando was also a difficult dude, to work with, apparently. And he described Chaplin as the most sadistic man I've ever met.
Wow.
Yeah. So
interesting, isn't it? Isn't it interesting how you get like characters that you know from TV or film, and then you get them outside of that situation. You meet them, and never meet your heroes, they say, don't they?
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going to come from them, and they are just...
Listen, just don't be a dick.
Where he was... I suppose...
And also, if it's an act... I feel... I don't know, like when we do this podcast or when I do shit on YouTube, if someone meets me, I expect them to think, oh, he's probably just slightly more I'm probably slightly more boring than I am on this podcast or in a YouTube video.
At least we hope.
Well, because no one, this isn't like we'd have a chat, but this isn't a conversation we'd really have in a pub. It's like more structured. We've thought about it. We definitely amp it up a little bit because it sounds better. But
no, we don't.
But it's the same person. But I think when it's an actor or someone who you don't know, you've just seen their characters.
Yeah.
Don't expect anything. Don't expect them to be anyone.
Well, I suppose also
it's unfair.
He was one of the world's first mega stars, like mega superstars, like from silent film, from his first films.
Yeah.
Like that had never happened before, and there was suddenly this new medium, this ability to share what he looks like, his image, and his image even now to today is very iconic. So I think he built that back then, and he probably got to his head. Let's be honest.
I guess.
A bit of Bieber syndrome, if you will.
Keep your shit in check. You want a Charlie Chaplin bonus fact?
Yeah.
After he died, some people, they dug him up. They stole his body.
No.
And they ransomed his wife, who I believe was that 12-year-old. Hang on, he went through a bit of divorce. Oh, I don't know. He got married so many times I get confused. But it was the Una woman.
The Una. Yeah.
It was because that was his last wife, and they stayed together the whole time.
Do you know what my answer to that would be? He's dead. Keep him.
Well, yeah, you'd think.
Did she pay?
They wanted $600,000 equivalent. I feel this happened in Europe because he was British. Anyway, I don't know, but I don't know if it was dollars or pounds or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's going to be way more today. I don't even have the inflation adjusted.
A lot of money. Did she pay?
No, the police caught them.
Oh.
And then she had his body sealed in a bunch of concrete so people couldn't steal his body again.
It feels very sacred.
Yeah.
Feels sacred.
Well, they bury people under concrete now.
And they stop the smell.
To stop people stealing bodies. And
is that what it is? Yeah.
I think like notable people and stuff, because people get weird about this. There's lots of weirdos. If you're famous enough, there's lots of weirdos. Osama bin Laden they just tossed him off a boat.
Yeah, and you know why?
Yeah.
Go on then.
Go on. Well, I want to know if you know why.
So that there was no one place that could be used as a shrine.
Good, right?
Yeah, it's and it's clever because it's never like confirmed. It's never like no one knows where.
No, we just chucked him off a boat somewhere. That's it. He's probably like been eaten by lots of little bugs and rotted away.
Speaking of death and dying, just a nice little fun fact. Do you know why Morgan Freeman always wears golden earrings?
Ooh, I want to guess.
Go on then.
Okay. Is it medical?
No.
Because Bono's sunglasses for glaucoma, apparently.
Oh, no, I believe that. No, it's not medical.
It's not medical. Style?
Not style. I mean,
is it something?
They do look pretty badass, but it's not style.
It's a memory of something?
No, I'll give you a hint.
Okay, give me a hint.
It's an old sailing habit. It's an old sailing habit.
He was a sailor?
No.
He was in the Navy?
No. He might have been, but he...
Okay, dude, you're going to have to tell me. Because I would like to keep guessing, but I realize it's not super entertaining.
Not particularly enticing pod. So it's an old sailing habit that people would wear so that if they died in a foreign place, they would have enough money. They would have like the gold to buy a coffin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait. Why does Morgan Freeman have this?
Well, in case he dies in a foreign place.
He's Morgan Freeman. His body's going to be repatriated. And
I've got a small story. I've met Morgan Freeman.
You have?
Yes. So
I've never met anyone famous.
I mean, this is.
I mean, I've met YouTubers, but like not traditional famous.
This is the bit where I sound slightly out of touch, and I'm gonna try and not sound too.
Were
out
you
of
at
touch.
Ascot?
I'm really not. It wasn't Ascot. It was actually a bit better than that. But basically, when my parents split up, my dad decided to take us on like a really nice holiday.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of all the savings ever got put into this holiday, and we went. It was not a great financial decision, but a fantastic holiday.
Yeah.
And,
well, when your parents get divorced, you get loads of cool stuff.
I suppose.
That's what I heard from movies. My parents are not
Two
divorced.
Christmases.
But yeah.
And basically, what happened was that we went to the Caribbean, and we were on in a beach bar, and there was just this big.
How old were you?
I was 15, 16.
Amazing.
And there was this very tall guy sat in the corner, sort of slightly graying, freckles on his face. I'm okay next. And like freckles on his face, and he and like one of the guys we were with was like, "Hey, I think that's Morgan Freeman." And we were like, no, come on. It's not Morgan Freeman.
He's got to be somewhere.
That's it, you see. But like the logical answer straight away was, it's not him.
Yeah, no, I'm always like, whenever I see someone who I think is someone, I'm like, it's probably not. And you don't want to be like, hey, Morgan Freeman.
You don't want to look. You know, that half notice, that half recognize where you're kind of like, is it? And it's
I know
weird,
this
creepy
one.
stare.
Yeah.
You must get that, actually.
You get this sometimes. Like, I don't know, there was...
I know the face, but where from?
Yeah, this
That
is
sort
the
of thing.
biggest one.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's weird.
But yeah, no, so basically, my dad took it upon himself to go and check if it was Morgan Freeman. He was like, no, you guys all stay here.
Awesome. Your dad's a legend.
I'm going to go check if it's him. And so he walked up to him and he was like, excuse me.
My dad would be like, leave the poor man alone.
Well, no, I think what it was he was telling us to leave the poor man alone. He wanted to go and say hi. And so he went over, he's like, excuse me, Mr. Freeman, I'm just here with my family. We just noticed you're here. Can we come and say hello? And so he came, he said, yeah, over you come. And so...
He was just on holiday?
He's got a place there.
Great.
And he basically was just, this is his local little bar, and like looking out on the port and everything. And so we went over, said hi, shook his hand, said hello. He gave my nan a kiss, and she was like, "Oh, I'm never gonna wash my cheek."
Oh my god!
And then he basically kind of recommended what to do on the island, and said, "Right, go do this, and hope you have a nice time." And then about 6 hours later, we'd gone for a walk. We'd gone to see all these natural caves and everything like that.
Yeah.
We came out, and we're walking back down the road towards where we're staying, and suddenly this Land Rover pulls over, and Morgan Freeman sat in the driver's seat, and he looks out, and he throws it, and the place that we'd been to see was the baths, and he's like, "Hey boys, how's the baths?" And we were like, "Yeah, really good, thanks." And then he went, "Have a nice day." And then that was terrible, Morgan.
That was pretty good.
have a nice day. No, I can't do it. And then he drove off, and my little brother, who was a bit too young to understand what was going on here, we just heard him go, "By God," because he played Bruce Almighty.
Oh, of course. Oh, that's great.
But no, so that's why Morgan Freeman wears gold earrings, and he was wearing gold earrings when I met him.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, if he ever died on that island, at least he'd have a coffin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If they'd just leave him there, they'd just...
Yeah,
that's it.
I think he has a place there, actually, but it's
That's awesome.
no. So what, you've never met anyone famous?
No.
Really?
I don't YouTube people, but no one from the traditional like movie star world.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I?
You know, I've never seen any of the royals, and the first time...
Oh, my parents met Prince Charles.
Oh, that's quite good.
That's it. Yeah.
My dad's got a picture of him shaking Prince Philip's hand, where he visited his school or something.
Okay.
But the first time my wife went to London, the very first time she saw Kate, William, and Harry all coming out of the palace, like all in one go.
Yeah.
And I've never seen them.
No, I don't. I don't
think
know. I'd be surprised if you had.
I'm never anywhere that they are. So
no, I don't hang out in many palaces owned by the Windsors.
No.
Do you want to do one or shall I do one? How are we doing for time?
We're fine for time. We've got loads of time.
Okay, then let's do this one because this is so good and it's super visual after our last non-visual one. It's do you see it there? This is Gorbachev's Pizza Hut commercial.
Hang on.
This is so good in so many ways. Just for everyone who doesn't know, Gorbachev was the leader of the USSR, Russia, until 1991. And just before we watch this, I want some context on this because this is not. If Putin did a Pizza Hut commercial, that would be insane.
Yeah.
But this
Was the actual leader?
No, he wasn't the leader at the time. But Gorbachev was the leader of the USSR. Was a superpower.
Yeah.
It was as powerful as America. It was the equal top country in the world. And let's watch the Pizza Hut commercial.
All right, hang on. Here we go.
This is the guy who... This would be like the president doing a Pizza Hut commercial.
This is a really good pizza.
I'm pretty sure we can just watch this whole thing, right? We're not going to get any claims. There he is. And this is his granddaughter, by the way. So we're watching it. He's going... Just pause it a sec. I realize I can't just enjoy this. I got to tell people what's going on because they might be listening. We're looking at... It's a 1990s, I think 1997 Pizza Hut commercial. Gorbachev is walking into a Pizza Hut in what seems to be Moscow with his... I looked it up. Granddaughter. They sit down in Pizza Hut. Continue. It's Gorbachev. He's serving his granddaughter Pizza Hut. This guy is speaking in Russian. It's a Russian advert. It's been subtitled. There's an old dude and a young dude, and basically they're having an argument about Gorbachev's like reforms to allow politics, some capitalist stuff into the country, like Pizza Hut. Continue. So the old dude's like, I don't like it, we have political instability. The young dude's like, because of him we have freedom. They have chaos. As you can hear, they're getting very riled up about it.
Because we've got many things. Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Hail to Gorbachev.
Yeah. So Gorbachev's sitting there in the corner, and these people all stand up and they hold a slice of pizza and they cheers to Gorbachev.
You know, I actually have a fun fact about this that I know.
Tell me.
He refused to eat the pizza.
Yeah, he did. It's coming up, dude.
Aha!
It's coming up.
I didn't even read your notes. I've heard about this before.
I didn't know this before.
I'm not sure where I've heard about this, but...
It's good, right?
Oh, that's what it is. I work with a Russian and they were telling me about this. Yeah, he refused to eat the pizza.
Yeah, so his daughter ate it instead. I just feel this is so crazy. This would be like Bill Clinton doing an ad for McDonald's or something. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so he covered
what I found interesting there, and I always find this interesting with places that have different alphabets. Like, I'm a bit of a language person. I like that. Yeah. It's to see Pizza Hut written in Cyrillic.
Oh, yeah, it's weird.
Really strange. Yeah. Like, it's a very recognizable sort of brand.
You want to take it back to the beginning? Bring that up? I'd like to see that.
Hang on. Sorry, I closed it. Hang on.
This is such a visual one. I love it. We should do more video ones. Do you guys like video ones listening? I mean, I know listening's not great.
I suppose it depends how many people are listening.
Do we do a good job of subscribing?
There we go. Hang on.
Where is it?
Do you notice there's never anyone on Red Square? It's always empty.
Oh, it's really cold outside. There it is.
There it is. Hang on. Here we go. And there it is. Look at that. Yeah. It's like, it's Pizza Hut.
Yeah, you do. It's got that little
it says
hat on.
Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut. Okay, so... I want to tell you about the story about why this happened, because it's not as simple as just money. I mean, it is, really. It's about money. But there's a bit more of a story there. So the USSR collapses, obviously. Gorbachev, in this advert, it's about, 1997? So 6 years after the collapse of the USSR. And his finances dwindle. You know why? Because he gets a pension from the government, but there was, a bit of a change of regime. His government pension was the equivalent of $2 American a month.
That's not very much.
Not enough to live off.
That's not very much.
But lots of people had this problem. They had basically, this is... By the way, there's another link in there. And this is quite British specific. Actually, it's not really super British specific, but like retirement schemes, right? The government retirement schemes. It's a Ponzi scheme, essentially.
It's a pittance. It's so little money.
It's enough to live off, just about, if you're,
Okay.
But basically, it's a Ponzi scheme because or a pyramid / Ponzi scheme, however you want to define it.
I was going to say, what's a Ponzi scheme? All right.
Ponzi scheme is what Bernie Madoff is famous for, which was it is super simple.
Hiring people to start their own little thing.
No, that's like...
That's a pyramid scheme.
That's a pyramid scheme. And the pyramid schemes, man, they're crazy. You don't want to talk about like name names, but all of those pyramid schemes that you think about, don't say their names because they will sue you. Yeah, because they're like, we're multi-level marketing, and it's like, yes, a pyramid scheme. You know them. Everyone knows them. I'm not going to say them because, like, I love how John Oliver on Last Week Tonight just calls these guys out because he's HBO and they'll take the heat. They've got a team of lawyers and loads of money, and it's awesome that they can. but I don't want to get a cease and desist. But it's kind of like this giant Ponzi scheme, like retirement schemes anyway. I didn't really want to get into it today, but I just think this is so interesting. There's an article from the Adam Smith Institute just about how the UK pension system is basically a Ponzi scheme. And the problem is now with an aging demographic of the population and there's less people paying in as people draw out, there's going to be a problem at some point. Everyone's going to get super old because everyone's getting older. Retirement age is going to go up and up and up. There's going to be less people paying in. It's going to be a big problem.
There's the same sort of problems in Japan at the moment.
Same sorts of problems. Yeah. Japan's got it even worse because their population's way old.
Way old.
And
no one's having kids.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's going to be a huge problem. But it's not something we should super discuss today because it's really long.
Do you know,
if you want to read that article, it's worth a read.
I went onto my UK government gateway. So basically, there's a website now where you can manage all your government stuff. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, you should get.
I don't even know about.
Oh, you should get it. Like, just you can sort of do all your tax returns if you ever have to do them. You can do all your.
I don't do this myself.
Like you can look at how much time is left for you to receive your pension.
I'm pretty sure I don't. I haven't paid national insurance contributions in 10 years.
Well, you see, this is it. Okay,
because you can volunteer them, and I don't.
Yeah. All right.
You do?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't. And basically, what happened was that I went on and I checked how much time I've got left until I'm qualified for a pension.
Yeah. Does it tell you what your pension was estimated to be?
Yes. So for a state pension, which is however much it is.
But private, we should just say private pensions work completely differently. Yeah, and that is like you are investing. Or you're paying it to a private pension company who will, because they invest in stuff. The money's not going to pay people it would be illegal if that money was being taken in as part of a private pension and being paid out to people who were subscribed before. That would be a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
And that's essentially that this Adam Smith article, this is what it describes as the UK system. Private pensions, they invest in the market, they invest in actual things. So the money is still there. And being grown, which is great.
Great.
I didn't have this either, but sorry, Sam. Tell me about your
So
UK
basically,
I
took a look. So I'm 26 now, and I took a look at how much time I would need to work in the UK and pay taxes.
40 more years.
More.
50 more years.
47 years. And I was like, the problem is, it's not because I've not worked. It's just I've worked in different countries. Yeah. And so like I worked like in Australia and Canada, so I haven't paid my national insurance. And
if you want, you can volunteer your national. It's not much. It's like £12 a week or something. No, because it's a giant scheme and it sucks.
For the sake of getting like a tiny pension, I'm not sure what it is. I think it was like 40,000 a year or something. No,
£40,000 a year.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a massive amount.
15,000 or something like that. It's like 15,000, 20,000
I would even
a
say
year.
that's high. I don't think it's 15,000 a year.
Really?
Actually, maybe it is.
I think it's about 15,000 a year. I think I've got no idea. Neither of us are.
All I remember is I swear when I was a kid, my nan's pension, which would go to the post office to get, was like 70 quid, and I remember thinking, "Wow, that's a lot of money."
A lot of money.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Buy a lot of penny sweets.
Yeah. Well, as a kid, you're like £70 a week, Nan.
Do you remember?
Oh my god!
Do you remember the day of penny sweets?
Of course.
Like we used to have a shop that you could go in and they had jars full of like humbugs.
Yeah, the tuck shop.
But not just tuck shop. Like it was all like humbugs and strawberry and cream sucking sweets and things like that.
Yeah, the tuck shop.
Oh, that was the tuck shop for you.
I don't know. The school had a tuck shop and it sold all this stuff in the big jars.
It wasn't in the school for us. We had like a sweet shop in our high street, and that doesn't really exist anymore.
Doesn't it? That's a shame.
No, not those sorts of sweets anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on.
Well, where were we?
Ponzi scheme.
Yeah. So. Do you want me to do we want to do Ponzi? I can tell you what a Ponzi scheme is super quickly because it's really interesting.
Tell the people, they want to know.
Ponzi scheme is basically what Bernie Madoff was running, who went to prison for like 160 years and he will die in prison, obviously. But it's like, okay, so I've got a business, right, Sam? And I say, hey, Sam, I want you to invest in my business. I'm going to get you 11% a year return, which is, whoa, you're going to be at 11% a year? That's crazy. I mean, it's not unbelievable, but it's pretty great. Yeah, it's an incredible return. You give me $10,000 and I'll look after it for you and I'll pay you back $1,000 a year in interest. Let's say 10%. $1,000 a year in interest. I'll keep your capital and I'll just keep paying that out to you. Put more money in if you want. But I'm not actually investing your money. I'm just taking your 10,000, taking, let's say, 5,000 for myself, spending it on random shit, and paying you out $1,000 for 5 years. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about you coming after me for 5 years unless you draw the money. So you might want to draw the money, right? But the thing is, in this next time, I've recruited your wife and your friend to put money in. And so if anyone wants to draw, You know,
you've got the pot.
I've got a big pot. The only problem is if everyone wants to draw at once, or you know, the Securities and Exchange Commission is like, you're running a Ponzi scheme, and that's what happened. So,
there you go.
Markopoulos famously, is it Markopoulos, not a whistleblower or something, but he blew the lid on it, and it was incredible. Such an amazing story, and he went to prison for like 160 years, and they recovered a bunch of the money, but not all of it. And it was like, and Bernie Madoff was like a trusted Wall Street guy, which is why it was so successful. And he wasn't offering crazy returns. But that's a Ponzi scheme.
There you go.
We were talking about something completely different. And that is, I've even lost what we were talking about. Gorbachev's Pizza Hut commercial. We were talking about why he did it. And basically, he had this foundation that he wanted to maintain. It was kind of this thing that he set up after his presidency, like a lot of presidents do. And basically, he would do speaking and stuff like this, but it wasn't covering the expenses of the foundation. So he did a Pizza Hut commercial. And I thought, we said it wasn't for money. It wasn't for money in his pocket, but it was money for his foundation and to pay his staff and all of this stuff. No one knows how much he got paid, but speculation, $1 million in 1997 for a commercial where he didn't even eat the pizza because he refused.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty big commercial. That's a big hitting player right there. You know,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
it's pretty good.
I think that's reasonable. I rewatched Lost.
It's got to be good when you're that notable that you can just do a commercial for $1 million.
For a few million, yeah. I rewatched Lost in Translation again after a little while.
Love that movie.
You see, I love that movie. I find that's a funny movie because people either love it or hate it. It's either too artsy golden, or it's great, you know. And I think it's really good.
But it is too artsy. I don't like that part of the movie. I like the message of the movie.
Yeah, but no, I think it's the same sort of story that he's there doing a whiskey thing for $2 million.
He wants to be doing a play.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's just like sometimes you just got to do it, you know.
But it's also he's super rich already. He doesn't need to be doing it.
No,
but $2 million is a lot of money.
That'd be a nice situation to be in, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Can you imagine being Bill Murray?
Oh, Bill Murray's such a legend.
He is a legend, you know. And what I love about Bill Murray is he's very down to earth. So he's like you always see him things like going around and picking up trash and things like all that sort of.
Bill Murray.
He's Bill Murray. What a lad.
Bill Murray.
What a good lad.
Yes. By the way, I will just say that this is kind of where I want to stop with the Gorbachev part of this segment. Yeah. But I will say foreign policy, which is you can read foreignpolicy.com for free. It's got no paywall or anything like that. I don't know how they do it. Maybe with ads. But I don't know, it's great journalism. And if you just search foreign policy, Mikhail Gorbachev, you'll find a Pizza Hut, you'll find this, and they've got a huge write-up about this, and it's way more in-depth than anything I've mentioned, and it's awesome. And there's so many details. It's cool.
Great.
Okay. And I just thought, nice little funny irony of the communism of Gorbachev, and then he's doing a Pizza Hut commercial for $1 million. Now, Sam, do you remember how I said that wouldn't it be weird if Bill Clinton did a McDonald's advert?
He did.
Well, he didn't. However, it's even better.
Oh my
Sorry,
God.
I'm so excited. Okay, see though. Okay, even in the notes, I write. Okay, now what the WTF is this? Click that link. Sam.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I don't know if this is like not news to Americans, but look at this.
I really think this is the right thing for us to be doing, Ivana.
What will people think?
Let them talk.
Ivana.
It's wrong, isn't it?
But it feels so right.
Then it's a deal?
Yes, we eat our pizza the wrong way.
Crust first.
Introducing stuffed crust pizza from Pizza
I knew he was
with
messed
a
up
ring
from
of
the
cheese
beginning.
baked into a totally new,
Just
thinner
let's finish
crust.
it.
You'll want to eat it the wrong way. Crust first.
May I have the last slice?
Actually, you're only entitled to half.
Large, just $9.99.
Okay, so this is also 90s. I guess maybe early 2000s. What is going on? There's so much to unpack. There is so much to unpack in that. First of all, why is he eating the pizza crust first?
Because it's stuffed crust.
Who does that though?
Stuffed crust.
Yeah, I know, but I love stuffed crust pizza.
Yeah, it's true because then you've got nothing to hold. So wrong.
It's wrong. And it's not funny though.
No.
The only reason this is funny is because it's Donald Trump doing it, who is now the president.
Yes. And Donald Trump, who is Czech.
No, she's Slovenian.
Czech.
This is
Ivana.
yeah, of course, because this is the 90s.
His current wife is Slovenian.
Wow, that's crazy. Second thing to unpack about this, is this weirdly sexual? Like, just go back to the beginning.
The beginning?
Yeah, like...
Ivana.
What will people think?
Let them talk.
Ivana.
Ivana. It's wrong, isn't it?
See,
But it
No,
feels
I think it's
But
very.
it feels so right.
It's sort of very 90s sort of ghost, 80s ghost kind of feel. It's that sort of
But it's not
Patrick Swayze,
Then what else is it supposed to be if not like?
or it's a little bit Austin Powers. What is your name?
Yeah, but Austin Powers is sexual.
I'm Ivana.
It's a
Ivana
sexual.
Humpalot.
Yeah, it's
That
a
sort of
sexual
thing.
joke. This is a sexual Pizza Hut commercial
Possibly.
with Donald Trump.
Well, maybe this was the beginning of sexualization of food. Like now, you watch a Marks and Spencer's advert.
Oh yeah.
God, they are like filthy.
It's
Or you,
pretty,
You
yeah.
watch who's the
Food
lady
porn.
that does Christmas? Nigella Laws.
Don't know.
No, I don't know. There is an English
Delia Smith.
No, the no.
I don't know. I'm just naming
I think
female
it's
British
Nigella
chefs.
Lawson, and everything. It's like now we're going to massage the breast with duck
Oh my
fat.
God, okay.
And it's like ooh,
We're
that's
getting a bit weird.
that's a bit
Nigella.
much. Come on.
Third thing I want to unpack about this is at the end, he's definitely making a divorce joke.
Yeah.
You're only entitled to
entitled to
half. Which they get, he's been divorced before. No, this is his first
This
wife.
is before.
But he's been divorced 3 times. So
must have
is it
lost a
really
lot of
okay
money.
to make divorce jokes when you've I mean, of course it's okay, whatever.
That's a
but
joke, isn't
is
it?
it? But fine. But why does he make? It's weird.
I feel that he didn't write this. Like everything he says, I feel that he didn't write this.
No, dude. If someone's writing his stuff, that person needs to be shot.
I am the best writer of everything.
Yeah.
No.
Just the end bit where he says you only get half. Why is there a divorce joke in there?
Actually, you're only entitled to half.
I don't get it. Also, do you remember when large pizzas would cost only $10?
Yeah, do you know when I was living in
It's a good
Australia,
deal.
there was not Pizza Hut, it was Domino's used to do half price Tuesday. So for a student discount, you get $7 two
Yeah.
pizzas, $7.
What? This is, yeah. I mean, but this is just standard large pizza for $10. We would do Domino's at university, and if you went to pick it up on a student day, you could get it for like £5 or something.
What?
So, yeah,
No,
for a large
do you
Domino's.
know they're like £17 now?
Dude, of course. If you buy them off the menu, it's insanely expensive.
Mad,
all the
absolutely
time.
mad.
But it is what it is. This section's been really long, but how glorious was this?
No, fantastic. I'm glad we did this. This was nice.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's quite funny because you only think of a person in their position that they're currently in. So Trump is now president. The thing is, he was already famous before.
Yeah,
Did you hear he got
even
pulled
if
out
it
of
wasn't,
Home?
it's weird.
Did you hear he got blocked out of Home Alone when they played it on TV and he made a big thing about
Wait,
it?
he's in Home Alone?
Yeah, Home Alone 2 because they're in the Trump hotel, and there's a moment where he walks in. He's like, "I know you," or something like that. He says something sort of, and he got
Breaking
he,
the fourth wall.
Exactly. He got no. He says it to Kevin, and he got cut out when it was put on TV. And he put like a big sort of complaint about it, and it was basically they went, "Oh, it's just because it didn't fit the timing." But I think we all know what it was.
Well, we know it was the best performance in that movie. Do you want to do one?
I do actually. I've got a really good one here.
How are we doing for time, by the way?
We're
Just
fine for
update
time.
me.
We're all right.
Tell me the time. I need
45.
Cool.
All right.
I want to know. I want to know when we can be done. Dude, every time I'm so hungry.
Yeah, it's we should I was gonna drop in. I was gonna get us some cakes.
Let's
to
get
have.
get food next
Yeah,
time.
it's. I think next time I will bring something. You let me know what to bring.
Cool.
All right.
Pizza Hut.
Cool. Pizza. Oh god, yeah. Talking about food, that's the worst thing. All right. Do you know where fingerprints come from? Don't look at the notes. Don't look at the notes.
Okay, I'm not gonna look at it. Guys, like quiz time, isn't it?
All right. This actually blew my mind. This was really interesting.
Is it? It folds somehow. Folds like leftover folds.
No, not leftover folds. All right, so I'll tell you. So our fingerprints are completely unique, and they are formed. They're friction ridges from where babies push against the placenta.
What?
So not the placenta. Sorry, push against the
wall
the
of
amniotic
the-
sac. Exactly. The against the walls. So they're friction basically. Not burns, but like ridges, and by 6 months of development, they are completely formed.
So you're just like locked it. Wait, so they're kind of blank, and then how do?
Yeah. No, so yes, exactly. There is. Sorry, hang on. So I just look at my notes. Pressure on the fingers from the baby touching and their surroundings. From touching their surroundings is what create friction ridges. The faint lines you see on your fingers and toes. These ridges are completely formed by the time a fetus is 6 months old. That's 3 months before the baby is born. Of course, we all know that. And there is a condition where you don't have fingerprints, and there's very few people have it.
I've
but
heard
it's,
of this,
I'm
maybe from
trying to
CSI.
Think of what it's called. I wrote it here. There are a couple of medical conditions. Yeah, here you go. Called a dermatoglyphia.
Sure.
A dermatoglyphia, in which people actually don't have fingerprints. I'm not entirely sure why. I assume they had their fingers tucked neatly under their armpits or something when they were in the woods.
There's no other problems for them?
I don't imagine so. They can get away with crime.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's. I thought this might be interesting for you as a baby daddy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
No, and okay. So when you think of solving a crime,
Yeah.
what's like the typical thing that you're like, oh, we'll catch them this way? How would you go about solving a crime? DNA, or fingerprints?
Eyewitnesses.
I want you to say fingerprints.
Okay, fingerprints.
Thanks, mate. All right, so
You're welcome.
certain countries use fingerprints far more than others.
Okay.
Australia is...
I mean, I would say fingerprints if I was reading like a Sherlock Holmes novel from 1901 or whatever.
Well, you joke, but like this is...
I know, it's a major...
No. It's like in many countries now, it's not used. They use DNA registering. But in Australia, it's still one of the highest levels of using fingerprints to incriminate people.
Wow.
In the world.
Makes sense.
So here I've got in Australia, police use the National Automated Fingerprint Identification System, a database with more than AFIS.
Watched too much CSI as a kid.
With more than 2.6 million sets of fingerprints to narrow down a field of fingerprints to compare. But the final decision on whether there is a match is made by a person, not by a computer system.
Okay, cool.
All right,
I'm okay with this.
All right, so until the mid-2000s, little scientific research had been done on most forensic disciplines, including fingerprinting. The lack of research became widely publicized in 2019 when the US National Research Council published a landmark report on their forensic sciences. It found that the only forensic method which had been rigorously validated was nuclear DNA analysis.
Okay.
All the other forensic sciences, including fingerprinting, lacked a proper scientific foundation.
Okay.
When examining this issue again in 2016, the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology, PACAST, in the US, found that only two properly designed studies of latent fingerprint analysis have been conducted. These both found the rate of false matches, known as false positives, to be very high. 1 in 18 or 1 in 30. So
That's high.
One of the main error rates is that
That's not enough to get a conviction.
Exactly. No, this is the point: is that they're saying there have been many convictions based on like hundreds, thousands of convictions based on fingerprints.
Just fingerprints that is not correct.
Exactly.
Wow.
For a mixture of their
all of this stuff's so bad.
Incomplete fingerprinting, and also there's the human error of using your eye saying that's that fingerprint.
Yeah, but they must have double checking and...
I imagine they double check that. How many times, like, if you looked at my fingerprint and then looked at it somewhere else and it was a little bit smudged.
I had no idea that was so bad.
Yeah, I had a friend, he studied as a criminal biologist. So,
That's
like,
cool.
yeah, it was quite cool. And he said that, I think, I'm not sure, I might be ad-libbing this now. If I remember correctly, he said that 92 or something % of all fingerprints which are taken at a crime scene are not complete enough to use as evidence.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And even when they do use them, they screw it up.
Exactly. 30 times.
I was immediately curious after hearing this. Can I?
You can take the reins.
It's your section, Sam.
Yeah, no, take
you're
it
the
away.
boss.
What have you got to say?
I was super curious if you could remove your fingerprints. I just Googled it right now.
Yeah, you just wipe them off.
What do you mean? No.
Oh, remove
Off your hands.
Burn them.
Right, okay, so...
They did it in Men in Black.
They did, and that's immediately what came to mind. I actually searched, can you remove them with a laser? I found on Quora a pretty solid answer with references and everything. Yes, in the past, criminals have burned their fingerprints off using caustic substances such as acid. John Dillinger did it in 1934. However, this is super interesting. You can do it via skin grafts. So they'll cut the skin off your finger and they'll stitch on some skin from somewhere else. Because obviously if you burn it off, it might grow back or, you'll still have something. Like you've burned a finger before, right? And you still get your fingerprints, they grow back. But if you patch it over with some other skin, problem solved because that the body will just take that
Yeah,
skin
take
and
that
use
skin,
it. You can apparently have this done in Dominican Republic.
Can you?
It's like, I guess, an underground procedure, but they say it's apparently popular in the Dominican Republic, costing about $1,000 to $7,000 to have your fingerprints removed.
For our listeners, that is not recommended. If you've listened to our previous podcast, you heard about the dude from China. So
you want it to get even worse? You think that's not recommended? How about this? A technical report from Michigan State University includes 3 images of 4 different methods: burning off with caustic substance, biting off, transplanted skin from feet, which we talked about, and just surgical removal, just straight up, just ripping it off. A lower tech method, often used by those without access to relatively more sophisticated methods, is to simply burn the fingertips with cigarettes or on a gas stove.
bloody hell.
Dude.
Actually, to be honest, seems like probably the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, but
I don't
no.
I don't want to dip my fingers in acid.
You're not dipping your fingers in... well, you can... Yeah, but
Corrosive substances.
I would just do the surgery.
Well, the surgery would obviously be
Number one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the easier way to go.
You know, we talked about on a previous episode how you wanted to make like a jetpack out of the blowers.
Yeah.
Do you want to get your fingerprints? Send you off to Dominican Republic for the pod. Get your fingerprints changed out. You can say no.
I don't want to.
Okay.
That's
I wouldn't recommend
I could
it.
do my toes.
I was mostly joking, but I loved how you paused and were like, "Should I do this for the pod?"
I do my toes.
You would?
Yeah, I do one toe. I do like my little toe.
Just to see what it was like.
You'd
lose a bit of skin off your butt as well, I guess.
It's like I don't have any tattoos, but I tattoo my toe. Like,
Yeah,
no
just
problem. Do you have any tattoos?
No.
No.
I don't know. I don't like tattoos.
Do you know?
No.
What do you think they're a fad?
I just don't like them. I don't know why. I think I worry about things that have such permanence.
Yeah.
Like I think making decisions of stuff that doesn't go away, you need to be really sure about, and the statistics of people who are unhappy with tattoos later in life speak a lot about that decision making. So I've thought at times that would be cool, and then I've thought I'll probably regret that. And now that I look back, I think I would. So
fair enough. There you go. There's Cameron Diaz was saying the same about women that laser off their hair in intimate areas. She said like obviously it's become a real thing now that people like laser all the hair off and it's gone forever.
Yeah.
And she said that might be what you want now, but is that what you're gonna want when you're in your 50s? Is that what you're gonna want in your 60s even?
Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
Might want a bit of foliage.
Yeah. Do we have time for another topic today?
We do actually. We've got 10 more minutes there.
Cool. Let's let me see. I'll do one.
Yeah, you do
I'll
one.
Let me see what I've got here. We dropped it out. I was so into your segment, Sam, that my thing closed. Oh, okay. Mine's short actually. This will fit perfectly.
Yeah.
For the last segment today. Prince Charles was a weatherman. I mean, not really.
No.
It's short. It's kind of fun. Have you seen this?
I've seen this.
It's quite good. You didn't like it? It sounds like you don't like it.
He was alright. No, it's alright. You know, he's
It's pretty entertaining. Do you want to bring it up?
I think.
Well, tell me your thoughts about it.
Well,
or should we watch it first?
Let's watch it, and then we'll talk about it.
We don't have to watch the whole thing.
I'm Prince Charles.
Let's take a look at the weather forecast now. I'm delighted to say we've got a new member of our weather team tonight.
Just pause it.
Let me hand over to him.
I feel like a lot of some of this is put on. Like he knows, he's looking at the clicker in his hand. Like, oh my gosh, what is this? Like he's looking at it. He's confused by it.
I've got the clicker. Yeah. What
but obviously he's been told what it does, so it's like an affectation, and it's fine. But it's like he clearly knows what it is.
I actually have to disagree because I think, for instance, you work with an auto cue.
Someone's briefed him. It's not like he just went out there and they were like, "Here's a thing."
You briefed me on your auto cue, and I sat down and tried to use it, and it was bloody hard. I was like, up, down, stop, go, stop, and I couldn't figure it out.
But you don't look at the auto cue and do like his expression of like, "What is that?"
Well, it's because he's posh.
That's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm saying. It's an affectation.
Got it.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Your Highness.
Well, it's an unsettled picture as we head towards the end of the week.
This
afternoon
it'll
be cold, wet and windy across most of Scotland. We're under the influence of
it's
pressure,
rather good. I like
this
it.
Weather,
and just pause it a sec.
Considering that's his first time to do this, pretty damn good.
I was impressed. Like I was hoping this would be a gaffe, but it's not. Can you also hear in the background?
What did this broadcast?
Yeah,
this went out.
It was real. Do you hear in the background? Did you play it?
What, the cameras?
Just the press in the background. So this is Prince Charles. I realize it's actually pretty dull. He just presents the weather, but I thought it was kind of fun. And also, This is one of those videos. Do you know when you're browsing YouTube and you're on your mobile or on your whatever device, and you just get like, the only reason we have this is because it just came up on my homepage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is this here? Don't know, but I enjoyed it. YouTube algorithm knows me.
I love like all the sort of fails, the clothing fails that weather people wear, like when they wear something green or they wear something blue, and they become part of the map.
Oh, go on, bring one up. Or I just go like weather.
As a weather person.
Green screen fail.
Green screen fail. Green wearing green.
Wearing green.
It's just, there we go. I like this sort of thing where people
this is the richest though. You'll have to deal with like a bunch of intros and stuff. Just skip to somewhere.
Oh no! Go to Hungary, guys. That was an advert for Hungary.
All right, look, everyone knows.
Anyway,
everyone knows what we're talking about. I thought this was good. Prince Charles was a good sport.
He was. I'll just quickly see if this one comes up.
Why weather people can't wear green on St. Patrick's Day?
All right, hang on. Here we go. We're going. All right.
I don't think he's going to be wearing green though.
Well, spent a lot of money on here at 11 Alive.
Oh, he's got an invisibility cloak.
I'm going to put this on, and I'm going to go over to the weather maps and explain to you why I can't wear green on St. Patrick's Day. So here we go. We're watching these temperatures that are feeling very comfortable out there right now.
Wait, is he supposed to? He's not there. You can't see him. He's completely invisible.
Oh,
come on, poke out your head.
There he is.
There we go.
He's just a floating head.
I can't wear green.
Do you know that's how they did the invisibility cloak in Harry Potter?
I could believe it. It's pretty common.
It was a two-sided cloak. One was really nice and ornate and sort of beautiful, like you see it in it, and then on the inside there was green screen material, and they flipped it around. So when he flipped it over himself, he had to flip it over, and boom, disappeared.
Awesome. That's pretty clever.
Very good. Should we let the people go?
Yeah, we should.
Let's do that.
This was a good episode.
I enjoyed it.
Oh, the Trump thing, man. It's so weird.
You're only entitled to half.
It's so wrong. Why are you being weird and sexual about pizza, Trump?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I've been weird and sexual about pizza a couple of times.
Yeah, but you're not the president.
Anyway. It wasn't filmed.
No. Exactly. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been the Simon Whistler Show. That is Sam Myers. Sam, give your plugs. Where can people find you?
You can get me on Twitter at ThisIsSamMyers.
Follow me on Twitter at Simon Whistler. By the way, if you have suggestions, you know what we like on this show by this point, hit me up on Twitter. I'll read them, and if we like them, we'll do them on the show.
If you like, hit me up on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have a Twitter off.
Send the best ones to me. And then oh, you could disagree.
Send slightly false ones, maybe. But no. No, we want your ideas,
Send me
guys.
articles from The Onion. Yeah, thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll be back real soon with another episode.
See you later, y'all.